Please welcome to the show one of the most powerful healers I've encountered. One who truly channels energy that helps you to connect to your divine energy, to help you align in a deeper and powerful way, and to help you shine. Please welcome Kumari. Right?
So great to be here.
Just telling the truth.
Thank you.
You just look radiant. Just absolutely, doesn't she? She looks absolutely radiant. It is so good to have you. So good to be here with you. Absolutely.
This is a dream come true.
I know, it is, right?
Yeah.
This really is. This has been quite a journey for us. We, connected, goodness, a good while back, we'll say, and there's just been so many beautiful visions and journeys that we've already been on, and to be at this place at this time is just kind of a culmination of such a beautiful journey so far. So,
I totally saw this for you. I remember eating dinner with you and saying,
I remember.
I could totally see you.
Yeah, there were many seed planters in my life and seed waterers. And then there, she was kind of all of the above. But really to just help me stepping into my own highest vision, highest and best for my own life. And I know you do that for so many others. But I want so many people out there to share and experience what you do and how you get to do it. And there's so many levels that you do such healing. You know, she is very clearly a healer. Yes, breathe, right? Yes. Because, I could list all of these things that she's done, but really when you sum it up and you get to the bottom line, it's all about healing.
It is all about healing.
Yeah. So tell us about your journey in I know we could be here a while, right? And
we'll
stepping into we'll do this, the Reader's Digest summary version. As it usually is, isn't it? Yeah.
So I didn't even realize that until someone asked me to write my bio for a book I was contributing to. And I had to look back on the last 20-some years. And I realized that the catalyst was my father's death from cancer. I was an attorney at the time. I don't know if you even knew that.
I did not. I love it.
In another lifetime.
Yes.
I was a lawyer. And, I was going to save the world through law.
And now you do it in other ways.
And, yeah. And so I was clueless about everything that I do now. It didn't even exist to me. But sitting at my father's bedside, watching him labor for his breath, he had lung cancer, there was this deep desire to do more. And I don't even think it was articulated, but it was just so within me that there's got to be more we can do for him. And he had the best medical care at the time.
Sure.
It wasn't about that, but it ignited something in me. And of course, a month later, another attorney comes in to legal aid where I was working with a picture, and it's a meditation master from India. Who knew?
How bizarre, how fabulous.
It's like one door closes and the other opens, you know? And so I watched that and I went, oh my gosh, my father, my father and his death propelled me into this whole new arena where I wanted to ease suffering.
Yes.
It just was deep within me. And so I began studying meditation. And I remember that same attorney told me about Reiki, energy healing. And I thought she was nuts. I have to.
Sure, right?
Like, she was describing these experiences of subtle energy, and I thought, that makes no sense. And she was beaming energy to her throat, she said, and she started coughing, and I'm like, she must have been pressing on your throat. I was so direct.
There's something she did to you.
I was so black and white, right?
Sure.
And so I remember that moment of arguing with her for her reality.
Wow.
And then within 6 months, that was me. I was studying Reiki. I never even had it. I didn't even know what it was, but I find myself in a class going, oh my God. This is what I'm supposed to do with my life. Forget the law school and all the debts I had.
Right?
Boom, I was in my new life.
Wow.
It was that dramatic.
Wow.
And so people thought I had really lost my mind, as I left that whole world. And I literally just walked away.
Wow.
And followed my heart to my teachers, you know, to live in ashrams, to just immerse myself in this path of energy healing.
Yes.
And becoming a vehicle for that. You know, because I don't believe actually I heal anybody, but I do feel like I've been taught and given the gift of getting out of the way for healing to happen.
To be that channel, right? To be a vessel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that was so different, you know, than being the talking head that I needed to be as an attorney. And, you know, it was really stepping back, and it was such a relief, actually, to just let go.
Release all of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought, oh, I could sit here all day just channeling this wonderful, beautiful, loving energy without talking. It was...
What an idea.
And I love to talk. So it was quite a shift for me. And so after many, many years of doing energy healing, another love of my life, animals, started showing up at my door. Literally, people said, well, if you could do that with me and help all my pain go away, I have a dog who's arthritic. I have a dog with cancer. I have this horse who's lame. And they literally, you know, just started showing up. And so I noticed that my awareness with people, the intuitive side of me became very, very, very laser focused as I began to see patterns of subtle energy and patterns of the way that we block.
Yes.
And the way that we hold old emotions that we haven't fully been able to release.
Yes.
And how that creates physical symptoms. And, you know, I was reading Dr. Oz once, was on Oprah, and he said, you know, the next new frontier in medicine is energy medicine.
Yes.
And I was like, where was he 20 years ago?
It's all perfect.
I used a spokesperson
I know,
then,
right?
because everyone thought I was crazy.
Sure.
Reiki, what? You know. So.
But that's how it is with pioneers,
now
right?
we're cool,
they think they're crazy at first, but then, everyone catches up, and you realize actually it's incredibly powerful, and we need to be utilizing it. You know, a number of our guests that we've had are finding the same things in other modalities, but it's all around the energy healing. So, you know, and for me, I'll tell you, you were probably one of the very first really, I mean, just like powerful, goodness,
remember.
oh my goodness, it was just one of the, you know, you have experiences in your life that it's kind of like what you said with the lawyer thing, right? You know, you're operating in this very linear, factual, statistical, I can see it, I can smell it, I can understand it all in these terms, and then you have experiences, you go, I don't have anything to connect this to.
It's totally out of the box.
It's out of the box.
It breaks down.
And right, if I say anything about this, people go, are you okay? Do we need to kind of talk to you?
I
you
know.
And yet it's absolutely undeniable. It's absolutely unforgettable. And it shifts. It makes changes. It's powerful. So I love that you live and work and operate in that truth and have been for years. You've been one of the pioneers to do that.
Thank you. And pioneers, I love that word. Pioneer
Yes.
woman.
Interesting.
It was not so
that word, right?
comfortable at the time.
Yeah.
I can recall. But now it flows so easily for me to speak what I now know is truth. You know, that we are not just this, you know, but that we are all living, breathing energy.
Yes.
Light waves.
Yes.
At our very core. And so what we think is solid is not solid.
Right.
Which is such great news, because then it can shift.
Well, yeah,
You know, and understand that nothing here is actually
it's actually what you think, right? And I remember, you know, in science class, you know, they would talk about theories. Do you know? I mean, most of our even some of the mathematical and scientific things were theories. Yeah. And I remember thinking, wow, we're learning all this stuff, and these are just theories, but they're being presented as facts. You know, and some of those theories were exactly that everything is just.
It's like Columbus, you know, and the world being flat.
Yes.
To understand ourselves as consciousness and energy is to really wrap your mind around that. Yeah. Then literally illness.
Yes.
Becomes very fluid.
Right.
Rather than solid.
Shiftable.
And old beliefs and limits that we thought were totally ingrained and are part of us, they become very light and ethereal rather than driving
solid mass.
Yeah, that we can't shift or can't change.
Right.
So that understanding, I actually lived it before understanding it. It's like not something the mind can actually comprehend, although science is really catching up with what the sages knew for a long time.
It is.
But I started noticing patterns in healing that translated from people to pets equally. People thought that was such an amazing thing to work with animals, and I thought, it's all the same when you understand the simple principles of the ability to shift energy, and basically that a higher frequency or vibration always trumps a lower.
Yes.
Higher meaning happy, joyful, blissful.
Yes.
Full of radiance and light.
Yes.
That is really truly who we are when we remove the density of the old beliefs that limit that light, you know, that tell us we're not good enough, we're not smart enough. We can't be clear, we can't.
Right, we can't, period.
Yeah, we can't tap our inner guru.
Yes.
You know, and we're taught that from a very early age,
Yes.
as you mentioned. And it's just not true. I believe everybody can be a healer.
Yes.
And everybody can tap into their own inner clarity and inner knowing.
I absolutely believe that, and I think that's something that I love about our time, because I feel very much that that's what people are finally coming to a bigger awareness of, is, you know, so many of the old forms were look to this person, look to this thing, follow this, follow that.
Yeah.
And instead there's such a shift to realizing actually what I believe, you know, so many of the, you know, sacred texts actually speak to, right? They all actually have them in there.
Used to and much greater.
Yeah. I'll never forget the first time I heard that. I thought, how is this even
gotta be
possible,
kidding.
right? I mean, hello, water to wine, boat, you know, parting sea. Like, how in the world am I going to do something greater than that?
Right.
And
And
yet,
I can sit here and tell you that you already are transmuting density, negativity, impossibility. Just by this show, just by who you are, you give people a whole new sense of possibility. And you know, I do see, one of my gifts is being able to see someone's highest potential.
Yeah.
And it's laid out there just like a beautiful canvas. It's like, it's all there.
Yeah.
But very few people step into it, my dear. Very few people take that dream or that vision or that possibility and run with it.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of courage.
yes, it does. It takes massive amounts of courage.
Yeah.
It takes massive amounts of, you know, I don't even like to use this phrase, but it's like slaying your demons, so to speak. You know, really overcoming that lower, denser energy as you speak of, and that's, I mean, that's
And moving ahead in spite of that.
in spite of.
Instead of waiting, this was one of my hugest breakthroughs. I thought you had, because I was a healer, I thought if you had stuff, before you did all the other big stuff, you had to heal your stuff.
Heal all your stuff, have it all
It's like all that
solved.
noise, all that gunk,
that.
you had to,
It's
I
all had
wasn't
to be
ready
done.
to move forward because I have this stuff. And,
Nope.
and finally, one of my mentors sent along a tape, and it was about self-sabotage and speaking to your fear and just saying, hey, fear, I know you're here.
Right.
But I'm still walking ahead. You know,
still
you
going.
can join me, you can do whatever you do.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to notice you anymore.
Right.
I don't, but I no longer also need to completely heal you in order to step forward.
In order to move
that
forward.
That was so liberating.
Right, we don't have to be perfect and have it all solved before we can take those
just
steps
move
forward. Yeah, feel
Even
the
with the
fear
fear.
and do it anyway. That's the key. I love it.
Very liberating.
Very, very liberating.
So
We're
it
going to
gets
go.
rid of all the perfection.
Absolutely, or the need to
need
think
to-
that you have to be
Yes.
perfect first.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. We're going to go a little deeper into that right after this. So come back with Kumari. This episode was sponsored by Soul Purpose Branding. Put your soul into your brand. Get your business on purpose. With Sabine Messner, the wizard of Soul Purpose Branding. soulpurposebranding.com. And we are back with Kumari and the healing gifts that she offers to the world for those who show up on her path and that she is called to. So, Kumari, I know, isn't it great when you hear the
Stories.
things about, right?
Yeah.
You know, others' perception of who you are and how you show up in the world.
Because I never wanted it, I never was comfortable being the healer.
Yeah.
To me, that wasn't the real story.
Right.
The ability to empower healing within someone.
Yes.
To me, that was the story. So when I learned Reiki, it wasn't enough for me to do it.
Right.
I had to become that Reiki master teacher.
Right.
That was what was so brilliant about it.
Yes.
Was it wasn't just about me laying on of hands or me running energy for people. It was literally something that I could awaken
Yes.
within everyone. And I've been teaching almost 20 years,
Yes.
and I have never had a dud student yet who didn't awaken
Right.
through the special attunement process. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is within all of us.
Yes.
And that to me is what's so amazing. But I know people love to hear about the healing stories, like what's possible.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that. And I remember that was a very big point of connection for both of us was, you know, having a vision, but knowing it wasn't all about us.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not just about us. It's actually about how we're just a conduit, you
Yes.
know, and not just but we're a conduit. And that actually within each person, there's that opportunity, there's the ability, there's the, you know, what can happen if we step into it. And then what we're given, now we get to share so that they can step into theirs. And I'm still that way. I mean, as you see, this medium for me is all about that, right? It's that, okay, great, I get to do it, and I get to share others who do it so that all of you who are listening and watching get to step into yours.
There's no greater joy, I
There
don't
really
think,
isn't. I
than
agree.
empowering someone else.
It really
and
is.
allowing them to flourish and blossom. So for me, yes, being the healer is wonderful and amazing and magical, and miracles happen all the time.
Yes.
And there's more. And the more
and
is
you can do
that,
it too.
Right.
Yes.
So now my focus is really on helping teach the teachers.
Yes.
You know, and really create that army of healers kind of.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
a great
that's
visual.
My mission is.
Someone said something like a spiritual, what was it?
Spiritual warrior.
Yeah, that's it.
Becoming the spiritual warrior. So
Yes.
that's how I focus now. But the stories really do impact us because we need a vision of a possibility.
Yes.
You know, when we're sick,
Yes.
when we're terrified that our body is breaking down,
Yes.
or when we're totally stuck in our business and we don't know what decision to make, and it seems like everybody is looking up to, you know, the leader of the business. So for instance, one thing that happened which was amazing, a woman came to me years ago and she was at a crisis point in her business. She needed to make a quick decision about whether to stick or to bolt, you know, and everything was up. And so I got her talking about some of the projects that were potential, but they weren't there yet. And one project, I got goosebumps. And she talked about this movie project that they hadn't signed the contract yet. So I was like, beg, borrow, and steal to stay alive until you get that project, because it's going to have such a huge impact, not just for your company, but for the world. It had an incredible message. And this was 2 years before the movie aired. And so she stuck it out and made it happen, and she got that contract. And 2 years later, that movie project became the largest grossing film ever in history, which was Avatar. She got to be internationally recognized for her production work on that movie. And of course it turned into many, many more projects. So it was just that moment of needing that clarity of what could open up if I just stay the course. And helping her to see that. It was amazing.
Powerful.
And it got even better when the Academy Awards came around. Her father became very ill and he was in a coma. And she asked me to send him some healing. And I did for a week, every day for a week. She was not able to get on the plane and go, but she was able to sit on her hospital bed. Her father woke up and they watched the Academy Awards with her movie production company. And she had that grand finale with her dad before he passed. So it spans, you know, that ability to be present in each moment with what's needed to get back into our true alignment with Source and with life force. It's possible to have more clarity. It's possible to know. We have an unbelievable wellspring of wisdom within us that we can tap, and I can show pretty much everyone now. I know how to show them to tap that.
That's beautiful.
And then the physical healing is kind of like the bonus when we become that aligned. So some other instances, I helped a dog breeder with a dog who was becoming so aggressive, he got disqualified from a show. He was going to eat somebody. And it was a 200-pound Mastiff.
Oh my gosh.
And so in one session, I was able to give him some tools, energy tools, to help his dog come down from that space of being totally freaked out and aggressive.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, I get an email with a picture with International Grand Champion.
Look at that.
So
beautiful.
yeah, just those kind of transformations I see all the time.
This is absolutely wonderful. And what are some of the tools? You know, I know you have this amazing project. Really, this is one of my favorites. It literally sits in my car. If I have nothing else in my car on, I literally always have this in there.
This CD program is a 3 CD program, and it actually is all the foundational tools that I found myself. I started doing much long distance work. I actually, I hardly ever have a client in person anymore. It's almost always on the phone in countries all around the world. And so because the connection is there through the energy.
There.
It's right there.
Yeah.
And so there's really no distinction.
Right.
And people find that trippy.
Yeah,
you know?
I bet.
They get over it fast with me because they'll say, okay,
well, like
where's
I
my
did.
pain?
It's like I did.
And I'm like, okay, your left shoulder up into, and they're like, okay, game on, you know.
It's very true. That's exactly what I experienced. You were in, Florida,
Yeah.
and I was in Phoenix. And, you know, I'm literally experiencing these things, and I didn't say anything. And she's like, okay, you might want to lay down because your legs are going to start, you know. But and it was already happening. Like you were literally giving a blow-by-blow of what was happening.
Yeah, it's
and
like
I
get it
anything.
a few seconds ahead.
Yeah, you did.
I
So
actually
you're like,
see the energy moving, and then I know that it's going to kick in for your experience of the energy moving.
and I did. I had to lay down. I absolutely did. And
Well, you had an incredible opening, though. You were very, very open to the energy shift. So, so anyway, this CD is a composite of many of the foundational energy tools that everyone can practice. I created it in a sense of using it as a daily meditation guide, because a lot of people say they can't meditate, and I know I've struggled with that. I've sat with gurus for 20-some years. And my mind is very, very busy. So having guided meditations, when I'm in that space already. Right. So there's a transmission that happens.
And you invite.
Yes. And we did one take. You know.
Of course, you can tell.
It
was
just was on, and
flow.
I could tell that the energy was contained within the recordings, so that I've had incredible feedback of people understanding, perhaps even for the first time, that they're actually in charge of their own energy. Right. That they actually can reset at any given moment how they want to experience being in this body. Right. You know, and can reset that. And so those are some of the most amazing foundational tools that they've changed my life. And they've allowed me to teach long distance immediately, to give tools over the phone.
Excellent, excellent. And what are some of the other ways that folks can connect and work with you?
Oh, to work with me. I was going to say to connect. Oh, I could teach you a million ways to connect.
Exactly. That's and how could some folks enjoy that?
Well, there's a fair number of free gifts on my website. They can begin there. A ton of articles and information about energy healing, the benefits, what you can expect. And my website, my main website is kumarihealing.com. That's K-U-M as in Mary, A-R-I, healing.com.
Yes.
And I have any number of programs ongoing. I have weekly healing programs that are group distant programs that anybody can join in. Nice. Excellent. I offer all the way up to a goddess program where I'm sharing at the level that I'm at now. I'm sharing pretty much everything I know. Wow. With some amazing people. So, and there's a lot in between.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about an almost like a ashram experience, right, where you are, right?
Yes.
At home, so to speak.
We're sort of customizing what that person will need to really hold them, what they need for daily practices. Because I'm intuitive and I have a million daily practices. You don't need a million, you only need the ones that work for you. For you, yeah. So I'm able to just kind of zoom in and say, okay, you know, this person's practice would be chanting. Right. You know, because that's where they just get into their groove. Right. And so I'll design the program just for them. Beautiful. And I also do all the attunements for Reiki, and I have many, many other bodies of work that I
And she
to open
does.
up the intuition
Absolutely.
and clarity. So.
Just a font of healing tools. So absolutely go and visit. And you know, again, this is something so simple. You can do it while you're driving in your car. I do it, like I said, this has become pretty much one of my consistent daily practices. I really, really love it.
Thank you.
So Kumari, I could just sit here for another hour or two and talk and chat.
Thank you for this.
Thank you so much for being with us.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Namaste.
So, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to who you are, to how you can show up in a bigger and better way in the world, and how each of our guests here can help you to do exactly that. And above and underneath it all, please remember, it's all about love. Thank you.